mean, it's a big part of the game, and
Yes.
it's already begun. Like in the ban phase now, the game has actually already begun the entire match, and lots of Gyarados for Amoeba. The triple Gyarados is always a good combo.
Yeah.
A little bit different though in every deck. Also, just a straight yellow low cost deck. I think that's Yellow Rush.
Yes. Yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, it does look like a yellow rush. I guess he doesn't run any blue amoeba.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any blue for him. Exploring though does have a blue jump deck. It looks like also a green red deck, maybe Crackthorn. Looks like a sacrifice deck with Aerodon and Summer Cones.
Yeah. Red yellow, is that burn or maybe more of a mid range deck? With maybe a Mistral Guides.
Yeah, maybe Mobility Burn, maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. It definitely has Gyaradan. We can say that for sure. It's getting banned, though.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess we won't know.
I guess we won't know. And also, it looks like the Sack deck is banned by Amoeba. Amoeba, by the way, one of the, as far as FWC points go, one of the top earners, if not the. He's way up there. So, definitely, I think the player to beat here. Exploring is good too, but he's always near the top of the point rankings.
Yeah, I guess I've never really played against the Amoeba, so even though I see him often at the top, I guess I never really have seen him as much, or maybe I just didn't pay attention.
Yeah, maybe he ladders with a different name. It's hard to say. Maybe he likes to
Yeah,
hide what he does. Now they're in the stage where they pick their decks. Exploring is going for blue jump first. Of course, Amoeba doesn't know that. He's deciding what might be best. This is a best of 5.
yeah. I guess it's also interesting that he has Amoeba has multiple Gyarados because it seems like Exploring now has mostly Swarm decks, so it might just go more in the favor of Amoeba, at least just based on the Gyarados. Overall, I guess
Yeah.
the overall matchup.
When in doubt, just add more Gyarados. That's the general rule. And despite what you see, it is not me versus Exploring. It is actually Amoeba versus Exploring. Amoeba on the bottom, Exploring on top. Blue jump versus Recurrence.
I'm curious. Was Blue Jump the best card, the best deck he could have started with? Um,
That's always really hard for me to figure out because you have to like predict the future, and I don't know how you do
yeah,
that properly. But I think in the end there is a correct answer. It's just
yeah,
you have to really, really know the matchups and really, really know where you're favored and where you're not favored. So I think a lot of that comes with practice as well, practicing your decks,
yeah.
grinding them out.
So this is a triple color Raquan deck that Amoeba's running, I assume.
Looks like it to me. Yeah, just like a standard, well, not a standard, but definitely a Recon deck. You got the champion in there, so
Yeah.
already taking out the water elemental with the Cannoneer. Seen a lot of the Cannoneer today. Did you? Oh well, I think you only played Leica. Did you run into any of these
Uh,
shenanigans that we've been seeing? Rainbow.
no, I didn't bring it. I was thinking about it, but last second I changed it to another deck because I didn't feel like playing it.
Mm.
That's the only reason. And maybe I should have played it, but I guess we'll never know what would have happened if I did.
I think it's interesting. I think.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it's
I,
it has a lot of there's a lot of vulnerabilities to it, but it's also really strong, and also it could just be banned outright. So,
yeah.
um, interesting build for me. I rarely see Rakoans build defensively towards both wells here. Usually they make a line up one side or the other, but yeah, gonna
Yeah.
have some
I
combat
think
here.
he's playing a Salamander version. That's why he's building it more defensive.
Uh,
And either way, gets blue jump. I don't think you can counter rush them, so you just try to play more defensive until you stabilize.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Already a Mystic Beast for exploring. Already got the aggressive lake.
He might have the clear here. No, I guess he has the command.
Nice.
I was thinking with the Rakon Copter, but yeah.
There's a champion. Two champions actually not that great early on, but they are 6/6s. 6/6s, I guess at this point, and maybe that's all you can hope for. I guess there's an option
Oh,
for a Rakocopter play here to clear the frog.
yeah. Maybe it's good enough, or he could just try to go for a bigger body, but then he plays into a humbling, I guess. which he has it in hand exploring.
Yeah, one card in hand. He may not expect that he has the Humbling, but we know that he definitely does. Making the Mountain looks like Recocopter's coming out here. No, just the champion, actually.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna wait out on the copter for a bigger turn to clear more, to get more value from it. I guess that could be also a line.
Yeah, it did get the buff too from the War Leader.
Yeah. I think it could have been worth to clear maybe one of the frogs, so you force your opponent to maybe use a bit more resources if he wants to clear, or at least more of his creatures in the process. But yeah, I don't think a champion is bad either.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you want them to be giant. Like in your dreams, when you play this deck, you have giant champions every time. But sometimes when you're under pressure like this, you have to accept that you're going to have a less than giant champion, and it's good enough. Often you can still, the win conditions in your deck can just be through attrition. After that, I mean, there's still one champion left after this, I assume.
It might even pay off if he doesn't block the mountain.
Oh. Has he moved that frog yet? No. Oh my goodness. Well.
He moved all of his creatures, yeah.
Oh,
he could have jumped his Mystic Beast on the mountain, but I guess then do you expect the copter or not?
Yeah, I clearly, I mean, I guess he didn't expect it. Well played, he said. You couldn't ask for a better copter, and now it's come back. 5/5 Recocopter is almost as big as his champions, really, and it's flying.
Yeah. At least I don't think the flying is gonna matter much at the time for now, at least. But yeah, it can help, I guess, when you dash over the ocean.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, that was a really good copter. It won in the game. Sometimes it does that. All right, so we're gonna get into the next game here. That'll be 1-up for Amoeba. Thanks to the Recocopter, he'll keep the same deck. And Exploring has to pick which one he thinks is better. Green-red. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I guess he wants to get rid of his I guess his red decks, and then he's gonna probably try to play his Raquan deck if he loses with the green-red against his rush deck. But I think the green-red deck has a chance against his whole lineup of Amoebas.
So you think he could sweep with just the green-red here if he plays well?
Yes. Yeah, if he plays it well, I think he can sweep it. Like if he can win this match against the Raquans, I think he's gonna be favored in the other two matches. I guess Yellow Rush is gonna depend if Amoeba's gonna get a good dominating early game.
Green-red pretty versatile, good in a lot of matchups. So is Racones, really. I think this will be a pretty good matchup. Early Wood Elemental. He could play it this turn, but it means that he'll have two creatures on one side for harvesting. He probably doesn't want to do that, but maybe just for the land generation. We'll see. Nope. And you're right. There's a Salamander.
Yeah. I guess Salamander could be a bit awkward if you have to go for deserts early, because then you get the Salamander on turn 5. Like if you play Shield Mates, but maybe it doesn't matter that much. It's still decent value Salamander if you have a few creatures on board and you can clear stuff.
And Garadan in hand for Exploring. Really good against Racones. Definitely going to hang on to that. And that could be...
I mean, it's going to be good against almost anything, the Garadan.
Yeah, just about almost anything. Yeah, it's a little bit better than a Recocopter.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing this same style. It's almost like a mirror of last game for Amoeba with the... what's he called? The Chieftain on the left? I can't think of his name right now. I can't highlight. But on the left there with the Reveler on the right. So playing defensively with this Rakoan deck, once again...
The War Leader?
War Leader, yep, that's what he's called. There's Chieftains, War Leaders, Champions. Yeah. Too many Rakoans, in my opinion. Same style play here, and we don't see a lot of Rakoan decks do that, but I think, like I was saying, is that Salamander.
Yeah, he's favored to play defensive.
Ground Shaker in hand. Just working up the left side here, both players. Except Amoeba at the same time is harvesting on the right.
He could Horsemaster Garradon if he wants to.
Well, Horsemaster at least. It is going to let him harvest.
Okay, I guess he's going for it.
Nice clear. Now he does spend the Garradan pretty early, so as long as he maintains one... Oh, there's an answer to his Garradan, of course, is another Garradan. That's not too bad. I mean, it is going to clear, if he plays it, it's going to clear 2 creatures. The other Garradan remains. That'll be Battle of the Flying Garradans, which may or may not happen. You know, maybe they'll just fly around harvest for a bit. There's no other direct removal in either player's hand, so...
I wonder if it's truly worth it, because he could also Salamander here with the Reveler. And maybe set up Garradon for another turn.
Yeah, you can have a nice beefy Reveler, clear the Sagami, I think is what you mean.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I don't know
bad.
if it's necessarily better, but yeah, it does seem good.
Yeah, I mean, when I play Salamander, I get pretty greedy. I want to hit like 3 of my things, but sometimes you don't really need to do that. Sometimes it's clearing one thing and buffing one thing is fine, especially when that thing is a Reveler. You get the area back. If you do play Garradan, where do you put him?
Either, I don't know. It's gonna depend if he wants to block the aggression, the make a land to block the aggression, and maybe play it on the opposite mountain where it's safe. So you have more options to either trade in or either that or into double collect is also good.
Yep, looks like he's going for the double collect. You play a Garradan, I play a Garradan. Oh, one's mythic, so actually Amoeba has the advantage. He has the mythic Garradan. Oh wait, no, they're both mythic. Oh my god, it's even again.
Yeah, it's the animations that make it look mythic.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I have it opposite. Actually, Exploring has the mythic Garradan, the 6/3. Okay, it's very important to recognize that. It is Exploring's turn now, and he gets to answer the second Garradan of the game. 5 fairy to spend. He could just make a double harvester. Or does he go aggressive? Anything he plays here is in range of Garradan. Okay, just gonna buff.
If he collects, he's gonna get 7 Feria. No, I was thinking if he could block with Chieftain or something. I mean, the War Leader and then dash the Chieftain, or... Maybe he could just block with Garradan. His Orb.
Do you think he's going to go aggressive with the 8/7 though, or do you think he wants to double harvest?
I guess what will he do next turn? He might just drop an aggressive Ground Shaker, maybe? He could just harvest.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't... Amoeba really doesn't have an answer for... Like, if he blocks the Garradan, the 8/7, and he has a 1 health Garradan flying around, he doesn't have an answer unless he draws... Well, the Salamander, I guess, is it. The single answer. I don't think he runs Cannoneer. Oh, this is interesting.
Did only see Cannoneer in last game?
You're right. Yep, because he cleared the water elemental, I think.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. Chieftain Reveler. Is he expecting that Garradan's just going to go double harvest instead of clear? Is that what he's proposing to him? Like, hey, clear one of my things instead of harvest?
If he collects, then I guess his Reveler can keep growing. That's what he's risking a bit here, but I don't know. Maybe he just tries to dominate this side of the board on the left. So he might just clear the Chieftain.
I think he's double harvesting here. No, okay, yeah. No. You're in the Chieftain, playing an Axe Grinder there. And, okay. Is he dashing all the way?
I guess if he dashes all the way, he might try to set up a clear on the Garradan, potentially.
And also a nice little harvest. Grappling hook for Amoeba. Okay. Garradan could fly across the world with a grappling hook. I don't really know why Garradan needs a grappling hook. He can fly.
He could Salamander and get the Feria back. but then he has a 2/5 that dies to the X Grinder.
I think grappling the Gyarados here is pretty nice. I don't
Yeah.
think Salamander is better than that. Mostly because afterwards it trades the Axe Grinder. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't take any damage. You can contest the Axe Grinder. Once again, Salamander can deal with that, but the Salamander has to be baited out eventually. I imagine that Exploring is thinking about the Salamander every turn.
He could hook and +1 War Leader, I guess. If he goes for the hook, I presume that's what he might try to do.
Still thinking about it.
Yeah, if he makes the forest, then he's going for Salamander.
Oh. Oh. You're right. Of course, doesn't need to hit Gyarados because it doesn't matter in the end.
Yeah.
Is even it'll play a War Leader afterwards, right? Because
Yeah. Because, I mean, that was the other line with Salamander. He goes to 4 Area. He can play also the War Leader. I guess I didn't see that he could have played the Salamander 1 down. Because I was too focused on putting it on the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I didn't realize you didn't need to hit the Gyarados. So Exploring's left with 2 creatures. Little Sagami Warrior can't do too much. He can harvest if he wants. There's no buff in hand. He could play Ground Shaker if either +1s or starts double harvesting with his Axe Grinder. But even then, it's not going to clear anything.
I wonder if Explorer can even win it now. Because he already played, let's say, the Gyarados that could have potentially helped him come back in the future. But like now, what does he do? Does he need a Crackthorn? I guess Leia could maybe help a bit.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's still pretty even harvest-wise. Like they are each, I think, harvesting about the same each turn. So they're both kind of mid-range decks. The problem is that Amoeba's board is so much nicer.
Yeah.
And there's the third champion, I think. It's not going to be too big, though.
It wasn't that the first champion?
Am I thinking of the last game where you played 2? Maybe I'm
Yeah.
thinking of the last game. Okay, this is the first one. Gyarados is just really out of the fight today. Just happy to harvest back and forth. Is he considering the champion at 5? It's a 5/5 for 5?
I guess he could full clear with a land.
Oh. Well, that's not... Doesn't really have a one he wants to
I wouldn't
sacrifice.
say, yeah. Not full clear, but at least at his orb, clear the creature that are at his orb, is what I meant.
Gyarados, I think, is going to fight here. Wood Elemental? Yep.
Yeah, I think he's just going to try to fight on exploring side of the board because he already has the creatures on the board. So if he can just kill all of exploring creatures, he's not gonna have a way to come back into the game.
Yeah, Exploring's lifeline is that Axe Grinder. If that Axe Grinder is destroyed, it's pretty much over. But as long as he's taking fire from those wells, he's good. But look at this board. It's a lot. It's a lot to break through. Crackthorn helps. Crackthorn's a way to do it, but it's just still so much stats.
He could also potentially Amoeba hook next turn the exploring's face.
Oh, yeah.
On top of clearing his creatures, probably.
Yeah, if he feels confident that he's got it, I mean, there's really no reason not to. I don't think he moves the Axe Grinder up this turn, exploring. Because, okay, I mean, he knows it's going to die, that's fine. But he needs to keep that engine going, that Spirit engine going, or he's just going to, there's going to absolutely be no chance.
Yeah. I guess you might try to stall it a bit with Leon.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a full clear possible, but it does kill the champion and the Gyarados. Unless grappling hook's used.
I think he doesn't. I guess he could. He doesn't necessarily need to use grappling hook to go face. No, but then I guess he doesn't clear the Leia. But then yeah, he has to use then the Cannoneer.
Use the Cannoneer on which one?
Probably the 3-2, right?
Oh no, I mean the target. Target the Cannoneer with like what is the target?
Oh, on Leia.
Oh, and the 2/2. Like you're saying, trade the 2/2 and the can. Okay, I
Yeah.
see. Yeah. That way you.
Yeah. He could hit in with the 2-2. Move the Rakoan down. Use the Cannoneer to clear the to kill the Leia. Hit in with the champion, and then with the Garden you can kill the X-Rander.
Yep, it does trade the Garden out, but clear board. Probably worth the
I
cost.
guess. Yeah, I guess I also meant to say you could sacrifice the priest, but yeah.
And does he trade Garden? He does.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. You stop his collection in the process, and he's gonna be from behind all game now, exploring, unless he can get another collector out.
Yep, he recognizes it. I mean, he was so far behind on board. The amount of barrier that was on board was first he had to overcome that, then he had to overcome the amount of harvesting. So 2-0 for Amoeba, who could sweep this. This is the semifinals. Whoever loses this, though, is not out of the tournament. They go to third place. So Amoeba undefeated with his Krakoan deck so far.
Yeah, I guess now it's gonna be the mirror. I guess in this case, Amoeba might be favored now because he has all the AOE, I guess, removals. So it might be hard for exploring to push with all the tokens.
Yeah, do you think he runs Salamander exploring? I actually don't remember.
No, I don't think he did. At least based on what I'm seeing, I don't think he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm saying it's gonna be hard for exploring to win now. Like I think his only chance was winning that game, and he lost it.
Yeah. Basically getting the wrong end of the matchup now. He probably really wanted the win, maybe not expecting it, but just hoping it would work out. And you know, it's a mirror match, but it's not really a mirror match because there are some significant differences. Do you think Exploring runs Garridan? I mean, he must, right?
He could run Garridan. I didn't exactly see the numbers of how many mountain creatures he was running.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's okay to run Garridan in the Raccoon deck, even if you go to one more mountain. It's just that good. Especially like it can just win you games on itself. So I think it's worth running the Garridan. I mean, whether or not he runs it, that's a different question. But
Amoeba for the first time in this match going up one side instead of being defensive. Meanwhile, Exploring is being defensive. They're switching roles here.
Yeah. I was gonna say he could pre-buff, but I realized he doesn't have the forest for it.
Yeah, or the mountains, really. You're talking about the Salamander, yeah.
I was talking about the guidance. So you have a 3/4, and then next turn you can use the chieftain to kill the recruiter.
I see.
But I mean, he can still do it.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any movement tricks here from Exploring other than maybe Illusionist. Frog Tosser is a couple turns away still. So Chieftain Guidance, is that what your prediction is?
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
Does he drop the war leader though, or does he save it for to drop it more aggressive?
Yeah, I don't think he has room to put it. I mean, you want him out in front. Shield mates can sit back there and be on harvesting duty.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's gonna leave it for a more aggressive play.
He's fine if this Reveler trades in with the 2/2. Happy to see that happen if it does.
I'm thinking if he's going to use the gift this turn. Like if he's gonna swarm and use the gift just to have some fairy in the bank, kind of.
He can play another Rakoan and then you can play 2 more and still gift Shieldmates, Rakoan. And then what has he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, because it's for each friendly creature, so 5. It's 5/5, right? No, it'd be a +4/4.
Yeah. Yeah, but he doesn't have the fairy anymore for it.
I played the champion, okay. 8/8, yeah. Pretty decent. 16 fairy for Amoeba. He's gonna play pretty much every card in this deck if he plays a mountain. Oh my gosh. Oh, what if he Rokocopters in there and then Salamanders?
He has the fairy,
yeah. I mean, I think the chieftain dies, but the Rokocopter ends up being a 5/5. That seems pretty good to me. He can get the Shieldmates in there. No, he can't. For the buff of the Salamander. Yep. Man, these Rokocopters, these have been some devastating Rokocopters.
I'm trying to see if there was another way he could have done it, but I'm not seeing it at the moment.
Is he? Oh, I thought he was gonna step.
No, it's fine because
Okay.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. He gets more buffs this way.
Yeah, he's saving the Salamander. Oh no, he's still playing it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he wanted the buffs. The buff creatures more aggressive.
I didn't realize he could play every single card with that much fairy, but
yeah. Because I thought he was gonna. I thought he was gonna leave the 2/2 alive and kill it with the Salamander, but yeah, I didn't see he could also drop the War Leader there if he suicided the 2/2 into the to the chief to the champion. I mean.
Man, there's so much stats. No removal of any kind, I don't think, in Explorer's deck, so he has to fight through the stats. Gift of Rakoa help, but he's low on Rakoans. Rock could be played this turn. There's no great target. The best is a 3/3. Meanwhile, this 5/7 is just going to be smacking things in the face, buffing Rakoa. Maybe his hand's actually empty right now, so that's Exploring's got that going for him.
I mean, he can toss her, but is it even that good? Like, he can toss her the 3/3. He could even use the failed experiment and toss her twice. I guess he also has he can also gift.
Yep, going for the gift.
Yeah.
And that's a decent amount of fairy on the Reveler when it dies.
Yeah. He could have gotten one more buff if he played the tosser. With a failed. Oh no, he didn't have the fairy actually. Never mind.
Well,
for some reason I thought it was 1 fairy tosser, but it's 2 fairy with the failed.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been. Oh, because the frog is. Yeah, okay. I was thinking. Right. Yeah, that would have worked.
But yeah, I mean, I guess he also didn't have the lens for it per se.
He's pretty crowded.
Yeah, but he could have killed maybe the 5/5, but I guess, but whatever. No, but yeah, this was the line. He went for the correct line.
Reveler gets the buff from the War Leader. That's pretty nice.
I guess he could have even guaranteed it, but maybe he didn't care as much.
On a 6 right away. Does that mean tosser? And okay, you can do an experiment afterwards. During the War Leader.
I think he's gonna keep it, or maybe not.
I mean, you could play tosser. Clear the Harvester in the bank. That's really nice. Does leave the Reveler open for a buff. Man, I can't believe he's come back like this.
Yeah, that's what gift can do on the Reveler. You invest you invest a bit of resources at first, but it's like a free 6/7 body that he had there.
Yeah, it's money in the bank basically.
Yeah, and he got to kill 2 creatures in the process. He killed the 5/5 and the 5/7. I guess it was a 5/6, but yeah. So he
Yeah.
got decent value after gift.
Grappling hook not gonna help so much. This is not a great hand for Amoeba when he needs to come back like this. He does have a small amount of money in the bank with his Reveler, but it's not a lot. He can play like a Reveler to Harvest, and that's about it. Not a great hand at all. And Exploring's board is huge. What he wants is a Garrodan. What Amoeba wants is a Garrodan. Oh my gosh, does he want Garrodan? So
Yeah,
badly.
I mean, especially with this board where he's pretty weak to AoE.
And there's gonna be no Salamander on Exploring side to buff him back up out of Garrodan range. Exploring's pretty much all in. He's probably puckering up a little bit, thinking about Garrodan. Well, who doesn't really? What do you think about Garrodan? Another Frog Tosser. This is a board clear here? Well, not quite. I guess it could be a board clear if he champions. I'm sorry, chieftains.
Yeah.
Yep, he's gonna clear.
He's gonna need one more Feria.
Oh, yeah. Well, he hasn't used his wheel, I think.
No, I guess not. I didn't see him make a land. So he could still +1.
And that's pretty nice too. Except if Garrodan comes. Does he go all in versus Garrodan? Well,
I mean, he still has the 4/5, which I mean, it could have been worse.
wow, he's gonna keep. He's keeping the 3/2. I thought he was gonna trade the 3/2. Oh my gosh, he is so vulnerable to Garrodan. His chieftain would survive. And Garrodan off the top. Garrodan off the top. What else are you gonna do, right? I mean, what, he just harvest from the left? I mean, I guess you could.
He can't even Garrodan off the top. He needs a mountains for that.
Oh yeah, he can't play it because the frogs are.
Yeah. Now he just drops a chieftain, and I think it's gonna be over.
The champion, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I keep mixing them up, the names.
I know, I do too. Chieftain, champion, war leader. All right. 9/9. He's happy to fight a Garrodan. No problem. Here comes the conga line, as Rakoans like to do at this stage in the game. Garrodan.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. I mean, even then, he still needs the mountain. But yeah, I guess if he had to top deck it.
Yeah, there's no way now. Unless he, yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
Amoeba though, not giving up.
Yeah.
I rarely see Amoeba surrender if I think about it. Exploring, on the other hand, he'll sweep the board once he recognizes he's done. Yeah, there is a reality where he just top decks Garrodan next turn.
Yeah.
There's most things.
How is he gonna deal with the 9/9 then? It's gonna be a 9/6.
It would trade right out. Oh, yep. Taking it off, I don't blame him. Who can blame him? First victory of the match for Exploring. That takes out the Rakoan deck. He's going to continue playing Rakoans, and suddenly Amoeba, on his match point, gets to pick any deck he wants against this Rakoan deck. And he snap picks a red deck.
Red. If he gets the early Garrodan, maybe he can have a sweeping victory.
There is an early Garrodan. Majinata in Explorer's deck. That's right. I think I saw it earlier. Really cool Rakoan decks I've been seeing lately, ever since the Rakoans were buffed. Everyone is a little bit different.
I guess I'm more of the opinion that maybe a few of the Rakoans were buffed a little too much. I guess more specifically Illusionist, but I guess that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the Cannoneer issue,
yes,
it's hard to see because it's might be being masked by that, but
yeah,
still very good, I haven't seen any turns where Illusionist does something where like, oh, that's totally unfair. It's usually like, whoa, that's a good play.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I guess it's mostly, I guess, edge cases.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're seeing a defensive start from Exploring with his Rakoan deck and Amoeba going up one side. Rakocopter's in hand, Gyaradan's in hand. Gyaradan could be played next turn. Not that he probably wants to waste it this early. Illusionist, speaking of, I think he gets played now. Yep. I mean, that's a 3-cost, like he killed a 3-cost creature with that, right? He spent a fairy to do it, and what did he play it on? It was just a token, right? Generated from a Rakoan. So it's not a huge trade, really. It's a nice trick, but it's not like, to me, it's not a crazy thing. Seems like a reasonable play. Meanwhile, Exploring now, his turn. It was answered by an Underground Brigand. That was it, which is fine. The Brigand's happy to beat up against the Illusionist. However, Chieftain is playable, which doesn't really make too much of a difference unless he's able to draw some kind of ping. Yeah, he might not even hit in here. If he hits in, it would allow the Brigand to move up, set up for an orb hit if he's able to clear otherwise. Anyway, yeah, didn't attack in. Makes sense. Ground Shaker here is really nice. Oof. Man, is it even a Gyaradan? Ah, you've got Ground Shaker and Gyaradan. I don't think you play either yet. I think you wait, right? Rakocopter could come down. Emperor's Command is nice. There's a lot of different options here, actually. This is tricky. This, I think, is going to be whether the game is won or lost, is how you play the Ground Shaker and Gyaradan, because you're against a Rakoan deck. And you have a lot of tokens to deal with. You have a lot of weenies that you need to clear. But the balance is, when do I clear? If I wait too long, a champion comes out and it's huge. If I do it too early, then I use all my tools. And now they just repopulate the board, and now what do I do? So that's kind of what Amoeba is thinking at right now. You know, he do a lot of damage here. He could just hit the Illusionist this turn, get the extra Faria, save up for Ground Shaker, save up for Gyaradan. Rakocopter isn't really a great play right here. There's nothing amazing it can do, so maybe it's just hit and pass. Okay, he's gonna draw even. Herald of War, sure. Oh, does he move back? Okay, no. Herald of War in the back to harvest, that's good. Yeah, that seems fine to me, especially with the board state here. Onig 90 is taking a short break. I'm gonna solo cast the rest of this, which is fine with me. Trading him with the Recruiter puts him in Gyaradan range. 10 Fairy to spend for Exploring. Lots of Frog Tossers. You clear off the Herald of War. Next turn. 11 Fairy for Amoeba. This is the dance. This is the dance for who wins this game, basically. Exploring expects AoE. All Amoeba has is AoE in his hand, except for Emperor's Command. He has all the AoE. Okay, another Brigand. That's pretty nice. Ground Shaker here isn't bad because it stops the double harvest. Unless you play a mountain here for the Brigand, then you don't need to Ground Shaker. But then you stepped your Herald up, so you're vulnerable here now. And Amoeba is really thinking about this, and I don't blame him. He's got to give it away by now that he has the Garden. Like, Exploring sees he has 15 fairy. He's not playing anything. What's in his hand other than reactionary cards? And what better reactionary card is there than Garden? Okay, Copter number 1 could clear the Recruiter. Copter number 2 can clear the Rakoan. Alright. And then with the Emperor's Command, there goes the Chieftain. And he plays the Brigand. And he hangs on to Garden. And he hangs on to the Ground Shaker. That's pretty good. So that was it. That was his play. All of his fairy is gone. Exploring now has a play. 14 fairy to use. But what does he have? He has no AoE. What he does have are Frog Tossers. And he can play them this turn. And he can hit a Rakocopter, hit a Rakocopter, think he's sitting pretty, but oh wait, Ground Shaker. But look at this. 0 Faria. If the Brigand's able to hit something, though, that's going to change it. If he's able to double harvest, he can play it. So we'll see what happens. It is going to be Frog Tosser number 1. Rakocopter, it looks like. Good spawn. Number 2, guaranteed to go here if he hits this. No, hitting the Brigand, which makes sense. Because you'd fear some kind of Gift of Steel or something on it. And a Chieftain for good measure. 6 Fairy now for Amoeba. That means a Ground Shaker can happen. It's only going to clear 1 Frog Tosser. It means this 5/1 is going to be really pesky to deal with. And this 3/3 can't clear anything extra with the extra damage. But the Herald would be able to clear the Chieftain. So you can Ground Shaker, clear the Frog Tosser, Frog, or actually the 5/1 would be smarter. Then the Chieftain. It does spend all of your Faria, so Garridan would be multiple turns away. So maybe you just wait. Maybe you take everything to 3 or lower that you can. So let's say you hit the Chieftain. Well, actually, you're going to lose your Herald if you do that. I mean, that's why he's taking so long to think about this, because it's not an easy trade. There's not a clear answer. There's definitely an answer where you could just play Garridan and wait. And you hit the Chieftain. You lose all your creatures. But then you clear everything eventually but this Recruiter. Exploring only has 1 card in hand and 0 Faria. They all just spent their Faria. They're sitting there waiting. Mexican standoff style. And then they both pull the trigger. Okay, it is going to be Ground Shaker. And he is taking out the 5/1. Oh, okay, yeah, clearing the Frog instead of the Chieftain. Yeah, no real risk here with that. I mean, you know, you don't get to clear the Chieftain, that's the difference. The 3rd Frog Tosser is drawn. So Frog comes in. Herald gone. Herald did get 2 attacks, I think. Is that right? And here comes the shield mates. Okay. So we're back to an evenish landscape, except that Exploring this entire time, this Recruiter has been harvesting this very well. And now he has a double harvester. So Amoeba has to answer. Oh, Horsemaster is so good right now. That's going to stop the double harvest. Kind of sucks for the Chieftain. Like, the placement for the Horsemaster. Oh, I wonder if he just double lands to the left. Plays the Horsemaster in harvesting position. It does mean that a Frog Tosser has a great target after that. But he has played 2 Frog Tossers, so he could expect... You know, he could say, odds are there's not another Frog Tosser, and he only has 2 cards. But 20 cards left in deck, he has his 3rd Frog Tosser, so... Could not work out. Could work out pretty poorly. It's tempting, though. Like, that's one of the first things I think of looking at this hand. He could just not use the Horsemaster. He could just walk forward. But then, yeah, the double harvest happens. Horsemaster here? No, just a Brigand. Okay, saving the Horsemaster. And yeah, buffs from the Herald of War for that underground boss. Garadan, it's not his day. He might not get played. I think if Garadan is played, Amoeba certainly wins. If Amoeba's able to save up enough Varia to play Garadan, like if he's able to come back from this and play Garadan, I think that's going to be it. Like that's basically a win condition at this point. You know, assuming he uses it in a way that makes sense. Biomancer.
So smart, I astound myself.
He's a pretty smart guy. Drawing little baby Racoans. No champions in hand. Those would be great. Gonna drop Reveler. I wonder if he buffs the Reveler with a gift. Oh, he can't. Yeah, he can. Nope. I don't think he's going to. Oh, he's gonna buff the Shieldmates? Okay. 7/7 deals with these things. Garadan can't be played. Oh my goodness, imagine if... Yeah. He's just a little short of Garadan there, unfortunately. It'd be too short, I think, right? 5 plus 2. No, 3 short. Yeah, because he already pinged. So no Garadan for at least one turn, if he plays something now, which doesn't really make too much sense unless it's a Horsemaster to clear the Chieftain. That wouldn't be too bad. The problem is he's got to do something because each turn, Exploring is taking 3 wells. Amoeba has 1. So in the game of attrition, in the game of board control, okay, he is going to clear off, I believe, the Chieftain here. Or does he hit the Biomancer? Okay. Nice little Feria boost. So yeah, only harvesting from 1 well, but hey, Underground Boss, he's like a little portable well. Little portable double harvester. Okay, Ulani drawn. Oh, there's Majinata. Oh my gosh, that could be a blowout. Gonna have to save up for him. Or her. Like for Garadan. Very similar. Almost a dragon. Almost a dragon. Maybe might as well be a dragon. If Majinata comes out, that's going to be devastating. Garadan is not a good answer for Majinata. Okay, spending some Furia, though. Oh, there's the failed experiment for Majinata. Which is still good. Cannoneer to pop the Underground Boss so it doesn't get a second combat round. Makes sense. And the 7/7 Shieldmates march on. Those are big Shieldmates. Oh, Cypher's Wrath means it can be cleared. I'd love to play Garadan right now, but he just can't. I mean, Cypher's Wrath seems pretty good here. He can finish the clear with the Horsemaster. He could then save up for Garadan. Let's see. If he goes to 8, just play Ciphers. So he'll be at 6. Next turn he could still play Garadan, but if he plays Herald, he cannot. Yeah, each turn it hurts. He's just not getting the Feria that Exploring is. To me, that seems like the most logical thing to do. Such a juicy Garadan. Exploring is at 0 Feria. You know he's going to be tempted to play something small. And he falls for your trap. Amoeba, very contemplative. Who can blame him? There's a... Oh, he doesn't attack. Okay. I don't think that... Well, see, now, since he did it that way, the Shieldmates can trade with the Horsemaster. Which means the Cypher play can't work. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Garadan just solves the problem anyway. So does exploring, as he heads up here, is he expecting the Gyarados? So if he is, probably don't see him play very much. Or you see him buff with the Gift of Rakoa. That's a solid play. If a Gyarados coming, let's see, he has 6 Furia and a Gift. He could play a Reveler and a Gift. And he could buff the shield mates again. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They go to 12. I think. Oh, does he just buff the Reveler also? He could just do that. I mean, that's a safer thing to do, right? You're gonna get the Furia back. Yeah. Oh, it's +6. Okay, so even bigger than I thought. And now, I mean, that's just a great answer for Gyarados, really. Gyarados can come down, but afterwards the Reveler clears Gyarados. You're happy to have that happen. You get all that Furia back. Meanwhile, Gyarados doesn't get any of his Furia back. See, he's just not the answer to everything sometimes. A lot of people favoring Rakoan decks today. It's really cool to see. This is match point for Amoeba. He is looking for the win here. There's the Gyarados. Boom, 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 boom. Cypher's Wrath is left over. Clears off the double Harvester. It's just the Reveler left. Reveler is blocked from face. He cannot reach Gyarados. So this is an interesting board position. Because Amoeba doesn't want to kill the Reveler, but he also doesn't want to take 7 damage each turn. So the longer this Reveler survives, the better it is for Amoeba to do what it is he wants to do. Whether that is, he could actually go for face and put a turn clock on. It would be, right now it's 3 turns. Oh, it's less. No, it's 3 turns. He also has the Flame Burst and whatever else he summons. That's totally an option to go face with Gyarados. But more likely, if I know Amoeba, he's probably going to do some double harvesting. And anyway, he can't hit face anymore because... Oh, he can. Oh, speaking of face. Yeah, I was so busy worried about what exploring... Or I'm sorry, what Amoeba was going to do. Exploring, meanwhile. Clearing off with a Cannoneer. Hitting face. Does Gyarados go face? He's really looking like he's doing it. Okay, we're racing. 11 versus 13. Herald of War. Go, go, go. 7 damage. It's 2 turns. This is 2 turns. Something's got to give, though. This is lethal next turn if he doesn't block here. But if he does block, it's lethal next turn. So, okay. How do you stop that? Big old champion? That would do it? Champion would be, I mean, it's not huge. It's a 5/5, but the important thing is that, no, it's not a 5/5. It's a 6/6. That's all you need to not die next turn. Illusionist here, though, can clear off the 4/4, so that takes care of it a different way. Okay, lethal is gone. There it is. Next turn, lethal. We are racing. There's champion, but not defensively. Why bother? We're racing. Next turn, he is dead. Does Amoeba have any possible way to win? Oh, he just doesn't have any fairy to even play both of these. But even if he did, it's only 5 damage. Oh, no, that would be actually it. But he doesn't have the fairy for it. Oh my gosh, these games have been so close. Like, oftentimes, like, he's 1 fairy off from winning the game. 1 fairy off from winning. This is like the second game we've seen today where it's just been this close. And this was match point for me, but this means we're going into game 5 in a best of 5. They just can't get any closer. It's great. Flame Burst, yeah. Gosh, just so close in so many ways. There's no way to survive here, right? Even if you... excuse me, even if you Horse Master to clear the champion. Yeah. GG, exploring, evening it up. 2-2. So, yeah, Onig90 had to step away. I actually don't know where he went. I hope he's alright. Maybe his computer went down. But, in the meantime, to close out this match, joining me is a nice man named Scorch.
Yes, we've apparently had a series here where only Rakoans is allowed to win.
Yeah, only Rakoans.
But yeah, unfortunately lost Onig there. But this series has really been some big swings back and forth by both players. It's been very, very interesting so far, and now into game number 5.
Yeah, they've been so close. Like, it's rare that so many games are so close so many times in a row. Really. I'm really
and that one,
enjoying
even
it.
as you said at the end there, Amoeba ended up with the cards in hand that would have given him lethal. He was just a Feria short.
One Feria short, yeah. It's always one something. Okay.
Looks like we do have the Yellow Rush coming out from Amoeba, so we did see this a little earlier on. The Yellow Rush from, I think it was Chief Bromden earlier on, was just able to get onto the opponent really quickly. So we'll see if Amoeba is able to execute that same kind of strategy here before the Rakoans is really set up the right way.
Yeah. I haven't seen this deck yet from Amoeba, I don't think.
The Missile Guide Rush was around a little while ago as the main Yellow Rush that was played, at least for tournaments that we were seeing. And it just kind of gives you, having the Mistral Guide in there just opens up so many different lines where you're able to create different attack paths with your haste creatures. Even something like Baron Sky Vermin, you're able to deal that one and then either dash it back for collection or whatever the case is. But you're just able to create so many different attack paths that you otherwise might be locked out of.
Yeah, it fell out of favor. I'm not sure why, because it's a really good deck. It's also really, really hard to play. Like, if you try to play this deck thinking like, oh, this is OP, it's actually really technical.
Right, it's not like what we think of as Yellow Rush, which is desert to your opponent's face, throw stuff at the board that has haste and just smack them in the face very kind of mindlessly. This one does have, as you said, a lot of technical play to it where you really have to set up your guides into the right positions. It has the ability to pull back and play more of a mid-rangey, more defensive economy game if it has to. So you really have to be careful with the way that you play everything out.
And exploring, being very smart and not building that center land out. If you were to do that, you know, there could be some bad things happening. Salmon's landing there, making deserts next to it. So doing the right thing, doing what he can, filling his board with Glitter Cones, which is what he's good at. An offensive Mistral Guide. I like the way this deck... Oh, he's going to use Wind Soldier to... Oh, right, okay. And then clear the salmon. Nice. I can't play this deck.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was mentioning with all the different attack paths that you can create.
Yeah.
Amoeba there collects twice and still gets the attack in with the Wind Soldier. And now the Baron Sky Vermins, you know, they just kind of reset into the corners here. It's really incredible what this deck is actually able to do in a wonky way that you normally wouldn't think Yellow Rush would go for.
Yeah. I could never play this deck. There's too many lines that are just crazy. The dashing and the charging and the multiple dashing is just, oh yeah, you can do that. That's right. And yeah, almost double harvesting now, or sorry, quadruple harvesting. Exploring has no way to reach those flying vermin. He has not only that, he has an offensive Mistral Guide to deal with. This is a rush deck, but it's already out controlling Exploring at this point.
Yeah, and Amoeba has these 3 deserts. The fact that Mistral Guide gives you other summoning locations, essentially, without needing to rely on where your lands are, means Amoeba's just going to continue to draw. Every single turn, it's going to be probably almost immediate off the power wheel, hitting that draw button. I don't know if there's anything even in the deck that requires to go to a 4th land. But yeah, I mean, now we see Exploring has defended. He's solidified this defense around the orb, cleared off that guide, but Amoeba has these 2 creatures in collection, potentially moving into double collection.
This is where you want to be. You're happy to do this. However, without the guide, you can't do your flying vermin tricks. Wait, did he not move the left one up? Is there a reason he didn't do that? The left vermin?
The only thing that I could think of on that side is because of potentially like Frog Tosser, because then Exploring would maybe be in range to make lands that would have the frogs survive. But you're still not worried about that for 2 more turns, so... Yeah, I'm not sure if that was just a missed step by Amoeba. I don't think it matters in the end. He's sitting on 11 Fairy as a deck that has a sub-3 average cost.
Right, there's nothing he can draw where he wouldn't be able to play it, so... Soul Drain, yeah, 7/7 champion now to deal with, and now things are a little different, and this is where you might not actually want to harvest because you will lose to the shield mates. Not a great hand for dealing with a 7/7 Rakoan champion.
Yeah, definitely. This is Exploring got set up these early defensive creatures, and now he's moved the champion in the really nice way to try to put that clock onto Amoeba. It's going to be maybe 1 or 2 more turns where Amoeba can still go for playing nothing, but if he doesn't find anything from drawing over the next couple turns, he's going to really feel the pressure of, if it's champion plus maybe one of the chieftains coming out of Exploring's hand in an aggressive spot as well.
Yeah, really surprised. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm not so surprised actually. If this Maginata is able to come out, I think that's game. And maybe you just don't play anything this turn. Because next turn you Maginata, right?
Yeah, the other option was, instead of that lake up in the top right corner that Exploring made, to potentially make a mountain or a desert in front of the champion here and play a chieftain, so then you're threatening 11 damage next turn. But if you're going to save on this turn and go for Maginata, you're still pushing 12 damage next turn, which is basically the same. Actually, exactly the same, because the chieftain would have buffed the commander for 1 as well.
Yeah, and that's a 2-turn clock. I mean, Amoeba's deck is fast, but you're not going to beat 12 damage to the face that you can't really stop easily.
And we do have to see a chieftain defensive here because Exploring has moved all of his creatures in ways that allow Amoeba to potentially get attack angles. Last Neighbor picked up, that buys Amoeba even more time now.
He definitely wanted that. Perfect card to get. Even against a Mistral Guide, he can start doing his shenanigans again. Wonder if he moves up with his Vermin still. It's going to lose to the shield mate, so he can clear the Soul Drain. He wants to start doing those trades. Like, he could move a Vermin up, Mistral Guide out another Vermin to replace it, Soul Drain the shield mate on that side, so it will trade. Yeah, Last Nightmare the champion. This is a really good hand now.
The double collection doesn't mean that much at this stage because Amoeba's sitting with 16 Faria.
You're right. It's just, in my heart of hearts, I just always think you must do that whenever there's an opportunity. Like, that's my own thought. But you're right. He's going to go down. He's spending a lot this turn, though, so, you know, it might make some difference. Like, if he plays the guy and the Soul Drain, you know, he's already down to 4. Plays the Vermin, he's down to 3. So, he did have 16. But he does have to break through all these Rakoans.
Yeah, and having the early shield mates for Exploring is really big into this as well, because even if Amoeba uses a Soul Drain, for example, onto one of them, it's still a 1/1 that he has to deal with, so maybe clearing the Chieftain here.
Yeah.
Fair bit of resources used from Amoeba, though. The guide is a very big part of what makes this deck work, and this is the second guide that looks like it's going to be able to be cleared.
Yeah, and he is doing it. He is playing. He plays entire hand. He's down to 2 Fairy. He had 16 not so long ago. He's down to 2. He played everything he could possibly play, and yeah, he's replacing the Vermin that move forward with another Vermin if it is cleared through shield mates. But the cute thing was that he harvests from the upper right well with the Wind Soldier to clear out the Chief, and that was something I wasn't expecting. Mistral Guide does fall. The board is not clear for either player. Man, what an interesting matchup. Frog Tosser throws things in a certain direction. No pun intended.
Frog Toss are actually a really good play here because the 4/4 represents some good defense, but also because the jump of the frog now allows Exploring to get that chasing around all of these flying creatures coming out from Amoeba.
Yeah, and even build, you can even use it to build aggressive land if he wants on top of Amoebas. Just nothing he can really do. He could have played a Demonic Salmon there, but would have just been cleared. He's going to lose his Barren Sky Vermin, I imagine, this turn. He could... There's no champion in hand. He could make 2 basic lands this turn. One to clear the Vermin, and then hop the Frog over and make one there, or just make one to harvest from the other well. That's like the safe no-brain play, I think. Just harvest as much as you can play.
I think even the frog... At this point, I think Exploring wants to use kind of as minimal resources as possible and go for the Maginata next turn. Putting that buff onto the frog is a 7 attack, which puts your opponent on a 3-turn clock. So that could be really good to get. And I think he's going to be able to collect enough. The land there's kind of awkward because he could have jumped the frog down a space instead of to here. And Exploring would have collected off that bottom left well and ensured that he gets Maginata next turn. But I think he just has the resources to be able to do it anyway with a +1.
Yeah, he's just relying on the fact that his creatures don't get cleared, I think. But they could. Not with these cards, though. This is a terrible hand in this situation. Sagittarius just going to blackface, which is good, because that means Maginata can't hit face. Well, the frog, technically. Frog swallowing a giant dragon spirit.
Oh
no,
we're
it
just
can.
going to see another Frog Tosser.
Oh no, but yeah, you can't Maginata, that's right. Yeah. 2 damage to face, or a harvest? To face.
Looks like it's going to be 3 if he goes for the Chieftain here. And you kind of skip the Maginata play to set up a Chieftain, which is 3 damage this turn instead of 2, but also setting up 7 more for next turn instead of 5.
Yep, and then each turn it'll compound a little bit. Zealous Crusader John, only a 6/6. Man, trip Demonic Salmons in hand. I think he's going to just be forced to play one here to hit face, just so he can make his Crusader a 7/7, because what else can you do? Loser of this is not out of the tournament. They do go to 3rd place. Winner does go to the finals.
Alright, Exploring will need to make a land in order to push all this damage. But Cannoneer in hand, you can just use that and the Frog Tosser to clear off the Crusader. The other Frog Tosser lives to kill off the Salmon, or you can sacrifice the Shield Mates. I think this is just Exploring's to win at this point. Not sure what else Amoeba can do here.
There's very limited options here. It's all set up for the lethal. There's no answer immediately available to Amoeba. I can't think of what the answers would be. It's all riding, I think, on this Crusader. Of course, is not going to be long for this world. I mean, it could be cleared this turn. Oh, no, actually... Oh, it still could, yeah. But then he would miss out on 4 damage to face. Actually, he'd miss out on 7 damage to face. So what does he choose? Does he go for safety? Does he go for YOLO? I think he's going for safety. Aw, boo. Yeah, but
so,
really...
the Cannoneer in hand could have been used to do that, and then you push more damage and set up a 2-turn clock, whereas pushing it this way, Exploring's just keeping enough to have Maginata, I guess, for next turn, but I really don't think... And now missed 1 damage as well.
Yeah, missed the damage.
In the end.
Yep. Yeah, probably could
Very easy to critique from this side of the...
Oh, for sure,
the screen.
Right. I mean, he's still in a very good position, but there probably was a little bit better way to do that. In the interest of winning as quickly as possible.
Shade Demon Found for Amoeba just doesn't get cleared the right way, and that'll be it. Exploring, coming back with their reverse sweep.
It was a reverse sweep from Exploring. Wow, beating Amoeba, who was just a really, just has a history of so many tournament wins. Amoeba does. So Exploring winning this is huge. Says a lot about his decks and his piloting.